Hi everyone, this is Debbie again. I'm the 3D modeler for Team Badriyah and the Stolen Pearl. Thank you so much for joining me today again. Last week we were modeling the castle, which is one of the scenes that Badriyah is going to be, fighting the jinns in. This week we're going to be modeling some objects if we have time, but specifically Badriyah's dagger, which is the weapon of choice that she's going to be using to fight the villains throughout the game. And it's a traditional Emirati dagger that I found like a picture of in like a museum that I'm going to be modeling this after. Yeah, so I'm just going to get started. Okay, so what I've done is I've placed the image onto an image plane like what we did last week so that I can model the object with this as a reference. And just to recap, if you do that, I go into view and then go to image plane and then import image, and then you go to the folder where the image is in, and then you click import image. So yeah, this is what we have. So I'm going to start with one of the primitive shapes up here. A cube is typically the best shape to use when starting. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So just click on a cube. Yes, and this is the cube. So I'm going to be modeling the main part of the sword, so not the case, because that's not going to be really needed throughout the game. And I'm going to also do this in the front view. So to go to the different camera views, you click on the space bar on the keyboard. And then as you can see, we can see the different views. So we can see the top, which shows the top of the cube, the perspective, the side, and the front. And the front is the main one that I'm going to be working with. So to go on the front view, I'm going to click spacebar again with my cursor on that section. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so this is my cube. I'm going to move it to where I'm going to be using it, which is right here. I'm going to place it in the center here. And then I'm also going to go to the side here where it says inputs to change some of the default features of the cube. So as you can see, the cube it doesn't really have many like vertices. It only has what it comes with, but I can increase that. So I'm going to go to where it says subdivisions height and just click maybe 10 for now. 10, and that divides it up. And I'm also going to be working in vertex mode because that's the easiest mode to work in for me to actually like manipulate the cube into the shape that I want. So vertex, and then now you can see I can just move each vertex around. And I'm also going to be working, going to make the cube X-ray so that I can see through it, so that it's easier to, also see the reference behind it. So you go to shading and then just click the X-ray button here. And then you can still faintly see it, but it's easier to work with for me now. So now I'm just going to manipulate the cube to fit the overall shape of the dagger. Okay. So let's start. So I'm going to start with the top, and I'm going to scale it. If you have, with the scaling tool and the vertices mode, you can like kind of use it as like another version of like the move tool, as opposed to like if I was to use the move tool and I moved it here, both vertices would, move in the direction I'm pulling it in. But if I was to use the scale tool in the vertices mode, then if I moved it, they'd both move like in the opposite direction at the same rate, which is what I want. So yeah, I'm just going to keep doing that. So just swapping between the scale tool and the move tool to get what I want. So yeah, the second row is moving it to fit the overall shape. So again, how I work when I'm 3D modeling is by getting the overall shape first before I start adding the minute details. That's the best way that works for me. Yes. So just moving each row of vertices. Yes, okay. And so it's quite easy at first because it's just, again, just the overall shape. And again, let me know if you have any questions that I can answer while I'm doing this. Okay. So just moving it down, getting the overall shape, as I've said before. And again, just to mention, Badriyah and the Soul and Pearl is like, it's a low poly game. So all the details that you're seeing in this reference aren't going to actually be put on the main objects, because again, it's low poly. We want to keep it like a low polygon count for most of the objects, even the characters. Okay. I think I might need more vertices, but let's see. Okay, looking good. I think I'm gonna, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but I'm gonna check. What I just did here is I put, instead of, so you know how it's two like vertices per row, I've put one here, like at the bottom, to make it like pointy, the edge of the sword. And let's see how that actually looks. If it doesn't look good or make sense, then I'm gonna use another method. So spacebar to exit the front mode, and then back to perspective mode, and then you can see that this has the overall shape. And I think what I've done here is fine. That looks fine, actually. So let's see how this looks without the reference here. I've put the reference in a layer called plane so that I can easily switch between visible and not visible. So just click the V. Yes, so this looks good for the like for the general shape of the, you know, the pointy part of the dagger. I just need to fix like the curvature of it and also make it thinner, because daggers aren't this thick. I don't think you'd be able to stab anyone with it if it was this thick. Okay, so making the plane visible again, and then going back to front view. Okay, the top looks fine. Okay. I think, yeah, I think this is where the weird part of the shape is. Okay. Okay, let me go to perspective view so I can actually see how it looks properly. Okay, that looks a bit weird. Because you don't have to follow, I'm not going to follow exactly the reference, because, you know, before when I was following it, you know, it has this kind of wonky bit here. I'm going to change it a bit to fit what I think makes sense. So now it looks like a curve. This bit is also a bit weird, this part. Let me see how that looks actually. So, okay, that's how the reference looks. Maybe that's how they're meant to be. Let me see how it looks when I shift this. No. Okay, I think that looks more curvy. I think this looks better. Okay, let me go back to object mode and see. Let me remove the plane. Okay, I think this looks good for now for the, the general part. Now let's make it skinny so it's sharp. So you go back to object mode as I did, and then you go on the scale tool and then just scale it like this. Okay, this is pretty skinny. Let me make it a bit, because I think I haven't really seen like a dagger or a blade in real life, but I think they're meant to be skinny, like knives. Okay, for now this is fine. I think this could stab a djinn. Okay, so this part is done. Now we're gonna do the top part. Okay, let's make the plane visible and go back to front mode. And then just remember to keep saving as you go along, or else it might crash and then your work will be deleted. Okay, so now I'm gonna use another cube for this part. Again, we're just getting the general shape. It doesn't have to be perfect for now. It doesn't have to be perfect ever, to be fair. I'm not a perfectionist. Okay, we're gonna go to inputs, click on polycube, and then subdivide the height. So I'm gonna do 10 again, because yeah, that seemed good last time. I want to make this part bigger, so I'm just gonna click on channel box to increase this. Okay, so I'm going to let me increase it along the height. The reason why you don't see me like going to the side here to switch between move and scale is because there's a shortcut on the keyboard. So W is move, and then R is scale, and then E is rotate, but I don't really use that much. Okay. So now going back to vertex mode. Okay, so we're going to start from the bottom here. Scale tool. Actually, I'm going to do that for both of these because. Right. Okay, let me go to object mode. I don't think I've oriented it properly. Just a bit to the. Okay, I think this is fine. Okay, back to vertex mode. And then getting the overall shape. So this part is a bit wider at the top. So let's increase that, create that slant. Okay, good. And then this part there's a dip, like a curve. I want this curve to be a bit smoother. So I'm not just going to use one vertex here. I'm going to move both of these down so that I can use that for the curve part. And then more if I need to. So scale tool. I'm going to move this a bit up. Sorry if I'm sniffing, by the way, I have hay fever. Okay. Okay, overall shape. Okay, gonna move these down to do the same thing. Also, it's important that because in Maya, you can easily click on the vertices, you can click. But when you're working in front mode or any of the most any of the different cameras, it's good to, instead of clicking, to just use your mouse to drag over the points you want. Because if you just click and then you exit the front mode, you can see that only this vertex is selected and not the one directly behind it. And you want both of them because the shape is the same all around. So that's just a tip. I've sometimes forgotten to do that. And then when I exit the front camera, I'm like, what's going on? Why is the shape different on the other side? But that's the reason why. Okay. I'm going to move this down. I'm going to do it right below this thing because I'm going to extrude this like around this face to get this, you know, extruded part of the sword or dagger. Okay, that seems good. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Actually, I'm going to do both of them at the same time so it's at the same level. It doesn't have to fit, be exactly the length of this part because again, I'm going to extrude that. Do the same thing here for the curve. Let's see, okay. At this point, you're starting, it's not exactly in the same position as the reference, but that's fine. It's just a reference. It doesn't have to be exactly the same thing. And then what am I going to do for this? This part, there's like a round thing there. Use this as the bottom of like the round thing, and then use this as the top. Maybe I'll add like spears here, but it depends on what I like. Again, I don't have to follow the reference exactly. Okay, so this is again the overall shape. Let's see how that looks. So exit the front camera, back to here. Let's remove the plane and see how that looks. Okay, so this looks good. I think I'm gonna, okay, let's go back to object mode, and I think I'm gonna reduce the depth of this. I think this is fine now. Okay, so one difference that you notice between what we've modeled and this, even though I don't have like a side view, is that this seems rounder, like this handle part, it seems rounder. So what I'm going to do, what I suspect that I'm going to do is I'm going to bevel the edges to make them round to fit the look of the reference. There's other options to make edges rounder in Maya, but I don't think that's gonna look good with this. But let's just see. So we're gonna make the plane disappear. So Maya has something called modes. No, that's a lie. I've used the word mode for like everything here, but like this is actually what mode means in Maya. So there's one mode. One mode is what we are on now, and then there's three mode, which is when all the edges are curved, are made rounder. And yeah, that's a good mode to use when you're making like characters, you know, like or when you want something to look more organic, things like that. But by 1 and 3, I just mean the 1 button on the keyboard and 3 button on the keyboard. So 1 mode is what we're in now. If you want to switch to 3 mode for a specific object that you've modeled, just click on the object and then click 3. So this is it rounded, like all edges rounded. I don't think I like this. Actually, I don't like this at all. So I'm gonna go back to one mode, and then I'm gonna use the bevel tool, because with the bevel tool, the three mode is basically the bevel tool, like on just an exaggerated version of the bevel tool. So with the bevel tool, I'm gonna have more control of what I want to do. So now I'm gonna go to edge mode, and then I'm just gonna click. What am I gonna do? Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna add more lines, more edges. Okay. So at the top here, go to mesh tools, and then go to insert edge loop. If you click on this box here, then you can change these settings. Right now it's 2, and that's fine with me. So to use the tool, you just click on edges, the edge that you want to add an edge loop around. I'm going to add one here. Do I want 2 there though? I'm gonna do 1. So go back, click on this, and then click on. One here, and then 1 here. Okay, right now, this is fine with me. So I'm just gonna click on the select tool to exit from using the tool. Okay, so now we can begin. And again, to select an edge loop, you click on you go on one of the edges, and then you double click, and then that selects the whole thing like around. Okay, so I'm gonna start with these edges. So I'm gonna double click, and then hold shift to select multiple. Okay, this is fine for now. Let me go on the other side and do the same thing. Okay, and then go on edit mesh, and then bevel is the first one here. Click on bevel, and as you can see, it's kind of cut it to create like a curve, but you can make it curvier with the options here. So fraction changes like not the depth, because depth is already here, but it changes the of the bevel. But you can see that it changes it, and the curve is kind of already beginning. And then I'm gonna because I want it to be smoother, not too much. Again, the poly, this is a lot, but just a bit. Okay, I think this is fine. Oh God. Okay. You can see it's creating extra edges here for some odd reason. Let me undo and see if I can see the reason why. Okay, I can see the reason why. I selected this edge by accident, so I'm going to deselect it. Okay, good. So just a tip, when you spot like a mistake, try to undo before you get too far, because when you get too far, it's going to hurt to like start again. You probably won't start again, and you just leave the mistake there. But okay, edit mesh, bevel, increase the fraction to 1, and then increase the segments. Okay, good. I'm gonna save that. Okay, so now I want to do more. I want to bevel this edge. Should I do these ones as well? Let me see how that looks, actually. If I don't like it, then I'll go back. Okay, double clicking has selected these, which I don't need. I don't need a curve there, so I'm going to deselect them. Okay, And then edit mesh. It's a lot of repetition, but it's fine. Then bevel. Okay, it's done something weird here. Let's see what happens if I increase the frac. Oh, why is it done that weird thing? I like how it looks, but it has this weird thing here. Okay, increasing the segments makes that thing disappear. But then the topology is kind of weird. It's fine though. We can edit the topology later, but still. Let me go back again and see if there's anything I did, just to make sure. Okay, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna remove this, like this part of each one, because that's a flat part. We don't need to do anything to that. Okay, so just gonna go around it and deselect. Okay, so now we're gonna try again and see if the same thing happens. Edit mesh, bevel. Yay, it didn't happen. Okay. Okay, this looks good. Okay, so we've got like that curvy part. What else do I want to smooth? Okay, might as well do the ones at the bottom here, because I don't think it should be that sharp. Okay, making sure not to make the same mistake as last time. Just leave this one. Oh, okay. Okay, almost done. And on the other side. Yes, I have. Okay, bevel. Edit mesh, bevel. Increase the fraction. Increase the segments. Done. Okay. Let me see the, again, it doesn't have to, okay, actually, no, I'm not done. Let me have these parts, because again, it doesn't need to be this sharp. So just go around clicking. Yeah. I'm gonna not do this though, because again, I think it's flat, so it doesn't need to be done. And then do the same thing here. And then bevel, mesh, bevel. Increase the fraction, increase the segments a bit. Done. Okay, this is looking good for an overall shape. I still need to sit down and think if this is like too thick. I don't know if I want to make this like this part round as well though. But the reference, let's go back to the reference. So click on this here to make it visible. Let me exit this mode to go here. I think it looks good for the overall shape before adding the details. Yes, I think this is fine. Maybe, let me go back here. And let me see what doing this does. Again, a lot of this is trial and error to see. Oh, okay, that was the point of that. I'm just thinking how to, if I wanted this to be rounder, how I could do that. I know there's a way, but I am new to this. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. Okay. Wait. Oh, I just did something. Hold on. Let me go back to object mode. I wanted to see how this looks in 3 mode. This looks kind of good in 3 mode. It looks very similar, but okay, I'm gonna do this in 3 mode. So the difference between this and the last like 3 mode that I did is because I added more edges. Because I had added more edges, then there's more edges to like curve, as opposed to if there's only a few edges, it just basically curves the whole thing. I'm gonna do this in 3 mode because I like it better. Or is it too smooth? Again, I'm very indecisive. I'm very indecisive. So, okay, I think what I don't like about 3 mode is how curvy it is here. So let me see what I can do with that. Maybe I should add another edge loop here. Okay, so let me go to mesh tools, insert edge loop, and I'll do one here. Okay, let me see how that looks. It's better. It's better. Okay, I'll leave it like this. If I want to do more, then I will. Okay, so this is our very simple, very simple dagger. Let me join it here. Very simple dagger. Details. Let me come here to see what the details are. There are these engravings, which I don't think for our game we will do because, well, we could do actually with materials, with textures. Not everything you have to actually model. I think it would be easier to do this with yes, and use like a normal map to create the illusion that there are engravings. Okay, let me extrude this part to see how that looks. Okay, go to face mode, and I am going to select all the faces here. Okay, and then go to edit mesh, extrude. Oh God, okay, let me go back to 1 mode. The reason why it looks like this is because we're in 3 mode. Okay, decrease the thickness. Okay, I'm just gonna do it manually. 0. Let me see what 0.5 looks like. Nope, too much. 0.1. Even this is too much. 0.05. Okay, this is fine. Again, it's very boxy. It's very boxy. Okay, that doesn't really help that much. Okay. Let me go back to edge mode. Okay. Okay, again, let me see what details there are. Okay, there are these sphere things around. Yeah, let me do that. I'll just use a bunch of spheres because that's easier for me. Okay, and also let me move this out of the. Okay, I'm gonna group these so that I don't have to move them individually. So to do that, okay, let me first name them. So this is the dagger part. So let me name this. I'm just gonna name. Let me name this the knife, and then this part the handle, and then I'm gonna click on both of them. Shift and click on both of them. Go to edit, and then go to group, and then group them together as the name says. And I'm gonna name this dagger. Oh, I already have another dagger here because before I was just um practicing and seeing the different methods that I can use to create it. So let me name this dagger 2. When I delete the other one, then I'll just name this dagger. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna move them both out of the image plane. So you can see that the arrow thing is all the way here, which is kind of jarring. I want it to be here where the object is. And a way to do that is on your keyboard, you press D. Then when you press D, you'll see this like circle thing, which means it's time to go. You move that to where you want it to be, like on the object typically. And then you press D again. And then, that's where the axis of the object is. So if you want to rotate it as well, it will rotate along this point. Okay, so I've moved it away from there. Now I can see. Okay, I'm gonna add spheres. Let me move it to the side so you can see both. Again, click on here. It's really big. And it has a lot of a high polygon, not a high polygon count because it's very little, but it has unnecessary points that we don't need. So I'm gonna go to inputs. I'm gonna change this to maybe 10 and 10. Doesn't really look like a sphere anymore, but if we click three mode, you can see that it's basically the same thing. So that's a way to cut on polygon count if that's what you want. Okay, I'm gonna rotate this so that this part is facing us. Okay, just go here to make sure it's 90. Okay, I'm gonna reduce this. Okay, and there's one like here. I want this to be perfectly aligned, so I'm gonna go into this mode to see. It's a bit smaller. I'm gonna do that. Okay, this is fine. It's like a jewel type of thing. I think it's actually a bit smaller, and then the jewels around it make it look bigger. Okay. Okay, no, I made it too small. How much out of the... Okay. I can move it out more. I think this is fine. I wonder how this doesn't irritate the person holding the dagger, like all of these marks. It's very beautiful though. I don't even know. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna make this into 3 mode. Nice and smooth. And then now I'm gonna make little ones around it. So I'm gonna duplicate that and make it smaller. Gonna make it come out a bit more. Okay, that's still a bit too big. Oh, okay, yeah, that is kind of big. Let me move it out so I can see. Okay, make that a bit smaller. Okay, I think this is fine now. Let me switch modes. Okay, that looks like it's in the middle. Okay, and then I want to basically repeat the same thing all around. There's a way to do this that's quicker. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it right now because, wait, let me push this back into it. Okay, yeah, there's a way to do this that's quicker. I haven't tried doing this before. Let's try. I'm probably going to do it the long way, but let's try. Okay, so a way to duplicate like an object like in like a special way, I guess that's not the normal way, which is just duplicating one at a time, is by going to edit and going to duplicate special and then clicking on the box here to manipulate this. Now, actually, I don't think I can do it with this way because what you can do is you can here you can have the number of copies and then you can say manipulate the translate to say, oh, do I want it to be like side by side or like up or like, you know, along the z-axis and stuff. And then there's also rotation, but that actually rotates the object itself. I don't think it rotates it along. If it rotated it along a specific axis, then maybe I'd be able to do that. But let me just show you what I'm talking about. So duplicate special, where did it go? It probably went inside the object. So where is it? I think it duplicated it like inside this object, which is why we can't see it. But that's basically what I was talking about. But now let me do this the long way. So just Control D to duplicate. I'm just going to keep repeating this. This is so long, but it's fine if you want our dagger to look beautiful. And then at the end, we're going to group all of the objects so that, you know, it's basically just one dagger. This is the boring part. It doesn't seem like everything is perfectly aligned right now, but we'll fix that later. Let's just duplicate. Okay. So let's go into this. Right now, everything is in X-ray. I'm going to change that so I can see it properly. It's the same thing, but it's front facing, so it's easier. Maybe if let me see if one of these would work. These are the snap options to snap to specific points, but we're not completely aligned with the grid. So I don't know if that's going to work, but let's see. Let me click on snap to grid. Okay, yeah, that snaps to different points of the grid. Let me see, snap to, okay, no. Okay, snap to a specific point. Okay, no. Maybe if I actually no. I should have made. Okay, that's fine. I'll do this manually. Just then just to make sure it's in the center. Okay, actually, I'm using snap to grid. I think this is appearing to not to grid to point. Okay, it's not working exactly, actually, but it's fine. Let me stop using it. Okay, this looks fine. Yay. Okay, look at our dagger. It's coming together. Looks nice. Perfect for Badriyah, a teenage girl. Okay, so then I'm going to, do you know what? I'm going to group these together. Only the jaws, that I can just duplicate everything. Okay, so I'm going to go to edit group and then make that jaw 1. And then I'm going to do Control D to duplicate it. Oh, you see, I was looking for the transform. Look, let's look at where it is. So I'm going to do that trick again. Click D. I'm going to go into front mode so I can get it exactly where it's meant to be. Want it to be in the center. And this is exactly where it's meant to be in the front mode, but we don't know if that's how it's, like, if it's in the correct place. You see? You can see from the top, it's all the way at the back. So I'm going to move that here. This is what the camera stuff is good for. So now it's perfectly where it's meant to be. So then click D to get out of that. And then now I'm going to duplicate and then put that at the bottom here. Going into this mode. Okay, looks quite nice, doesn't it? Okay, this is just an example of like the different details that we could add. But like this isn't actually the best stage to add the, wait, why are there 3 jewels at the side? Okay. I'm gonna delete this one. Okay. I must have duplicated twice for no reason. Delete that. Okay, so now we only have, yeah. Isn't the best stage to add the details. But because it's not really that detailed, like the jewels, that's why I'm adding it. But like, there's still stuff that I could do to make this better. Like adding more edges, yeah, adding more edges to make this smoother. Hold on. Yeah, so let me just quickly do that so you can see what I'm talking about. So go to Mesh Tools, insert Edge Loop. I'm going to do 2 this time, so make it quicker. And then just go click on the edge. Yeah, do that for everything. So this adds more vertices, so you can be more precise. Because I'm not going to use 3 mode for this. It's going to look awful if I do. Not that bad, but actually it's going to look quite bad. Let me try that. It's fine, but it's... Actually, no. It's not that bad, actually. Let me try that. 3 mode. Yeah, this is fine. But it just curves this part in. But that won't really be seen. Okay, let me go back into 1 mode and show you what I'm talking about. So go back to vertex mode. And then here you hit, like, because now there's more vertices, What is happening? Oh shoot, I'm still in. So what? This is annoying. Oh, once you click on these tools, you're still going to be in it until you. Let me click on move tool. So now I've exited that tool. Okay, so back to vertex mode. So that was what was happening. And then you can move these edges, these vertices, so that it's, more precise, like the curves. So that's what I'm doing here. It's a very very tiny things, but it makes a small difference in the end. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this looks in 3 mode. Okay. It looks fine. There's still some things that we could edit though. Like it seems like it's not as smooth here. I think I prefer it in 1 mode though. I think I prefer it in 1. Okay. Okay, so this is of our beautiful dagger, which we can edit more later to fit in the details and other to fix other imperfections, like it's not round around here and stuff like that. But I think for today we are done. So this is the object. And I know now it looks like, oh my God, it took like an hour to make this, which is true. It can take quicker if you're already familiar with all the tools and you're just going. But that's why 3D modeling is kind of for games is kind of hard because it's more like the quantity of things that you have to model rather than the technique. Because once you get the technique, everything is just kind of simple. But yeah, I guess that's it for today with me. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you learned something today. But join me next week for another 3D modeling live stream.